Welcome back. Very interesting subject today, and I came across this company in our local paper, The Globe, and it's called the Senior Medicare Patrol, and I have Mickey Nozaki here. So a Medicare Patrol, didn't even think we would have to have that, but why do you guys have a Medicare Patrol?
Why do we? And our program actually has been around since 1997,
Wow.
Believe it or not. This is what happened. And by the way, Senior Medicare Patrol is a private nonprofit.
Okay.
We're not a company, we don't sell anything. We are grant funded by the Department of Health and Human Services at the federal level, and we get grants every 3 years to educate all across the state about Medicare fraud and how people can prevent themselves from becoming victimized by the scammers.
Exactly. And you know what? It looks as though there is a whole lot of money being scammed.
Yes, unfortunately. The government estimates that we lose anywhere between $60 and $90 billion a year.
That is astonishing. And I know we have some slides that we'd love to show where we've got, we show that the Medicare payments are large, but a big chunk, that's a lot of money.
Isn't it
How is that
unfortunate?
happening?
Yes. Well, we have a lot of providers, a lot of people who steal providers' information and then bill Medicare for billions and billions of dollars. And it's very unfortunate because look at all the money that could be spent on good stuff when people are walking away. And unfortunately, not only are the taxpayers impacted, but our health care is impacted and potentially jeopardized by these scammers.
Exactly. Well, and then I'm sure our insurance rates go up and maybe people's payments go up as well.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So let's take a look at the Medicare cards because I know there was a big change.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the differences.
Yes, definitely. So we know that the old card had the Social Security number on it. And we know that Social Security number is the kind of the key to identity theft.
Sure.
And fortunately, there's been a lot of awareness information about identity theft.
Right.
Well, a couple of years ago, Medicare took the Social Security number right off of the Medicare card and replaced it with this unique identifier.
Okay.
But I don't want people to think that just because the Social Security number is off the card, that they can just carry it around and give that unique identifier to anybody.
Right.
Because that same unique identifier can be used to scam Medicare and the individual. So I want people to think of the Medicare card like a healthcare charge card. If somebody calls you on the phone and says, you know, I'd really like your Visa number and your PIN or your checking account information, you're not going to divulge that information.
Right.
We don't want people to give up their Medicare information to a stranger.
Okay. Well, tell me about some of the scams. So a Medicare brace scam.
Yes.
So what is that?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about the 3 top trends that are victimizing our Medicare beneficiaries today. The first one, people will get robocalls constantly. I think we're all inundated by these calls. And the caller will say, as this unfortunate woman did, she picked up the phone and the robocall said, if you're a Medicare beneficiary and you have back pain or you have knee pain, press 1. Well, unfortunately, she pressed number 1. She got a live person on the phone who said, we would love to send you a back brace or a knee brace or any other piece of equipment that you need, 100% covered by Medicare. We just want to make sure that you are eligible. So the first thing they want is your Medicare number.
Wow.
Okay? Unfortunately, she gave up her Medicare number, date of birth, her address. These suppliers who are doing the scam start sending her all of this equipment that she doesn't need. It's cheap stuff. She can't even use it. But because they have her Medicare number, they're billing Medicare for tons and tons of supplies.
I see.
And then she walks home one day and on her doorstep are boxes and boxes of all these cheap things that she doesn't want, she doesn't need.
I see.
But all of this is going on her Medicare record.
But they're actually receiving the money.
They're receiving the money, absolutely.
How are they able to redirect that how are they able to redirect that money to them?
Oh, it's incredible marketing schemes. They're so clever and they know exactly how to work the system. system. That's the unfortunate part. And they're taking advantage of people who just don't understand.
Right. Oh my gosh, that is
Yes.
horrible. All right, talk about another one, and then
Well,
we'll
speaking of horrible,
Yeah.
so there are hospice scammers, believe it or not. I mean, it's horrible to even think about. When we recognize hospice, we know it is a legitimate Medicare benefit
Right.
for people who are terminally ill and expected to pass away.
Right.
But there are agencies that will actually lie to you and tell you that there's a new Medicare hospice benefit. You don't have to be terminal. You can get all the insure, the diapers, the walkers, anything you need, 100% covered by Medicare. And they have people actually sign on the dotted line. Well, when they sign on the dotted line, they're actually enrolling themselves in hospice.
Oh, boy.
It goes on their record. They don't get the prescription drugs that they need. They don't get to
Oh.
see the doctor that they have.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And it's just curative comfort care, not curative, it's comfort care.
Okay.
So they're not getting everything that they need to sustain themselves.
Sure, because they figured they don't need it anymore. Oh
being
my
tr-
gosh, that's horrible. All right, and then another DNA scam.
Oh, this is the
You know, and
number
this is
one.
frightening because we have an organization here that's done by UCI, and they're collecting DNA. I'm sure you're aware of it.
Yes,
So I mean,
yes.
this is why people are afraid to do things like this.
Well, and that's legitimate, 100% legitimate.
It is, right.
So is Ancestry.com and
Right.
123 and all of those things that people will recognize. So when a laboratory person in a little white coat comes up to you and says, you know, Medicare now covers genetic testing. All you need to do is this little cheek swab, and we'll send you a report. And that report will show you, are you prone to cancer? Or your medications are contraindicated. But before we do that, you need to give me your Medicare number.
Wow.
And that's what they do. So they give them a cheek swab kit. They never get the report. Beneficiaries are fooled into doing this, thinking they're going
Right.
to get something.
Right.
But the laboratories bill Medicare thousands and thousands of dollars, and they get paid.
How does Medicare? I mean, are they obviously they're aware of this, but are they trained to know about some of these things?
Medicare understands that we're being scammed. They're the ones that estimate we're losing the $90 billion a year. And there are Medicare law enforcement contractors that go out,
Okay.
believe it or not, with bulletproof vests and guns, and they do investigate, and they are bringing down the bad guys. Just not fast enough and not enough
Right.
of them.
Where are the bad guys located? Are they here in the United States?
All over the place. They could be here in the United States, they could be abroad.
Okay. Is it fair to say that normally a person who is on Medicare would not receive a phone call regarding these kinds of things and maybe a mailer instead if it was legitimate? Or do you still get phone calls from legitimates?
No, these criminal scammers are so clever. They will use whatever is at their fingertips. They will send postcards telling you that you have to call right away or your Medicare benefits are in jeopardy. They will do emailing. They will do robocalling. In fact, I understand that of the 100% of telephone traffic in the country, 50% is robocalls.
Wow.
And we're being inundated by this.
Exactly. No, we are. No. So what can someone do if they're hesitant to give I mean, should they always be hesitant to give the Medicare number?
I think everybody should be hesitant
Okay.
to give up any of their personal information.
Okay.
They need to be diligent.
Okay.
You need to be very aware that there are a lot of bad guys out there. I mean, most people are good, right? But you never know when the bad guy's going to attack you.
Right.
So I want to make sure that people understand these are the things to protect yourself against Medicare fraud.
Okay.
Number one, always, always, always consult your own doctor, always. So Medicare isn't going to cover any service or any supply if it's not prescribed by your doctor and medically necessary.
Got it.
So when somebody calls you up on the phone and says, I've got a free back brace for you, that's not your doctor. You need a
Gotcha.
back brace, you consult your own doctor.
Okay. Okay.
Second, guard your card. Your Medicare card, think of it again as your health care charge card.
Okay.
You don't want to give out that information to anybody that does not need it.
Right. Okay.
Next, hang up on strange calls. Like I said, robocalls are being we're just inundated by these crazy calls. I would say don't even pick up the phone because you just don't know who can trust anymore.
Right.
And that's the unfortunate
And if you
part
don't
about
recognize
it.
that number, forget it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if it's important, tell people. They'll leave a message. You can call them back.
Exactly.
Review your medical statements. That's the other very important thing. There are two kinds of statements that people receive. There's the Medicare summary notice. That comes every 90 days in the mail if you have straight Medicare. And if you have a Medicare Advantage, what they call an HMO,
Yes.
you get an explanation of benefits once a month.
Okay.
We need to look at those things carefully.
Right.
We need to review those medical statements to make sure that it's accurate, that the services and the supplies that's represented there are truly what we got. And if we see something that, wait a minute, I didn't see Dr. Smith in Oklahoma City last week, we need to call Medicare or call Senior Medicare Patrol.
Right. Okay, excellent, excellent. And then, so for you in particular, Senior Medicare Patrol offers fraud prevention workshops.
Yes.
And how can people find out where those are?
Yes. Well, we have our toll-free number right here on the screen.
Okay.
If you have a club, a meeting where you bring people together, I'm local. I can come. I can give a workshop like this
Excellent.
with a lot more detailed information.
Nice.
Anytime you want. I'm here to educate. That's my primary mission.
And then billing review, do you literally review their bills with them?
Yes, if somebody says, well, wait a minute, I have a Medicare summary notice here and it says that I got a pneumonia shot, but I actually got a flu shot. Something's wrong. Well, it could very well be an error.
Yes.
But it could very well be some fraudulent billing.
Okay.
We help people work through that with their doctors.
Okay.
And then if there is potential fraud, we send it right on to law enforcement.
Oh, that is awesome. All right. Well, gosh, wonderful information. And you know, right now is a big time for open enrollment,
Oh
and
my gosh,
everybody
yes.
is, you know, probably nervous about it. And so I really appreciate you coming on. Great information,
Well,
and what a great organization.
Thank you for bringing focus to this important topic.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. And remember, if you want any information about this, you can go to californiahealthadvocates.org. But remember what she said is that you need to make sure you take care of that Medicare card and don't give that number out to anybody you don't know. We'll be right back.